Alright, I'm back. Vaccines and autism. So I'm going to run through a lot of things, and I'm going to do it really quickly, just so it's out there. The problem for the legal system and for the government and governments is that autism is exponentially growing. They don't know why. More and more kids are becoming autistic. They don't know the causes. But one of the major things that they're afraid of is they're afraid of restitution. Just straight up. They're afraid of restitution. There's a thing called tort. A tort is when it's a harm. It's when you do something to somebody. So tort reform, one of the major moving factors that affected the expansion and the wide use of tort reform is the asbestos industry. So all those people back in the day who helped build the Navy and all these things that made the U.S. the power it is, well, what happened was all these shipyard workers, they got mesothelioma and stuff of that nature from being exposed to asbestos. Well, over the decades, they have paid out millions, if not billions of dollars to people affected by asbestos. Vaccines are the same way. You can flip it, you can think about it however you want. But the big thing is pharmaceutical companies that produce the vaccines. If vaccines or, Raid, Monsanto's, weed killer, if that was found to cause autism, then the costs, the restitution, with everybody who has a disorder related to that specific cause, therefore can lay claim. And they don't want that. They just don't want that. Nobody wants to see your money just fly away, but that's kind of what happens when you make stuff that probably shouldn't have been made in the first place. Vaccines. And I saw an episode of Penn and Teller's Bullshit, and they gave me a different perspective on it because they called bullshit on the autism vaccine thing, and they had all these little pins set up like people, and they're throwing a ball, and they're like polio, and they're knocking down all these pins, and they're like, you could have all these people with all these different diseases, and but over here you got the small group of autism. Well, autism is exponentially growing, so therefore, and in a lot of cases, maybe not lethal, but polio, in a lot of cases, people couldn't walk. So, I mean, what's the give and take? I take big issue when people tell me that one person, their life and their quality of life was worth less than this group over here. That's just ridiculous. I'm going to go places with that. But anyways, I have seen my kids go from functioning and developing, and this is the kicker. This is one of the things that really just irks me. As soon as they started regressing, we took them back to the pediatrician, and the pediatrician was like, they're developmentally delayed. It's a twin thing, twins, they delay. And it really didn't kick in right then. We took them back a second time like, hey, delayed? Really? Come on, help them out. And the pediatrician, stuck to his guns. But the thing is, when you really know education and you know psychology and you study and you research these things and you go to school for these things and you have access to information, the one thing that didn't really kick in my mind at the moment, they didn't even delay. A delay is when you benchmark, when you reach a certain point and you plateau, and you could move on from that at some point, but you plateau. You're there for a little bit. They didn't reach a benchmark. They didn't get there and still had their speech and still had the ability to take baby steps. That's not what happened. They full-blown regressed. Now, when something is, when somebody takes a straw and they tell you, hey, sit on this, I'm going to blow in it, and I'm going to call it sunshine. And you're like, that ain't no sunshine. There ain't no sunshine when it's gone. It's so frustrating to me how people can be so ignorant, where they can straight up tell you with confidence to your face that this is this, when in fact it ain't even that. That's one of my problems with it. So thank you for listening to me rant and share a little bit about my family. I know that, you know, I'm putting myself out there, I'm making myself vulnerable to attacks and stuff. But there's one thing that, you know, a lot of people don't get about me, and I'll share it with you right now. Haters are going to hate, takers are going to take, and then lovers are going to love, givers are going to give. So my thing is, there don't need to be haters, there don't need to be takers, but their existence, there has to be a balance. You have to be able to accept the fact that, you know, when you take, it means somebody else has less, because we're all even. It's all even playing ground, and I'm just leveling the field. So that's my thoughts. There you go. Love you.